This is the final video I'll be doing for the midterm, and it's about Harold Innis and McLuhan. I don't know which to start with because they both go hand in hand. So I'll start with McLuhan and see what a medium actually means. So uh, the medium is the message, or medium is the massage. I'll come to that story. McLuhan talks about how a certain medium, when you consume it, will change the context of the meaning. For example, if I'm taking Accidental Prime Minister as an example, I personally, when I watch it, I'm going to laugh at it because I have a certain few opinions, and I'm not going to take it seriously. It's just a fun movie. I'm sorry, it's just a fun movie that I'm going to watch. But if I read the same thing in a newspaper, I'm gonna get a bit serious about it. So I'm gonna take the information seriously. So there are there's one message that is coming to me in two different mediums, but I am taking it differently in both of the mediums. So there are two different meanings I'm gaining out of it. There are two different values that I'm getting out of it, which we learn in Harold Innis. This is where A Medium is a Massage, one of the most famous books written by McLuhan, where he gave the title as Medium is a Message, but then it went to the publishing house and then they misprinted it, and that somehow that aided to his concept of Medium is a Message, where it became message or mess age or massage or mass age. So great, mistakes are always good. Dag acha hai, right? Next is Harold Innis. Yeah. So in Harold Innis, what he talks about is that he created a certain framework where there's a media which gives you a certain message, and why does it change? What I became serious in one and I was laughing in the other. So how many different types of emotions, or how many different types of values that I can get from this is what Harold Innis was talking about. So there's a certain media or a media format, and that media format has an attribute, which is either, there are 8 attributes, I'll come to that, and that attribute creates a network, and that network of people, or the kind of people, will have a certain sense of social value or social practices. That is it. Okay, let's take examples for each and figure out. So accessibility, concentration, hierarchy, I'm just going to stop the hierarchy, elitism. So accessibility, let's take Vedas as an example. It's a very famous example. There was only a certain sect of people who were allowed to read the Vedas, who are allowed to read the Vedas, and they are concentrated into one particular community, right? And that in and of itself easily created a hierarchy. I don't need to go even. I don't need to take any other example, because this itself it's a very easy example. We're living in that example right now. Yeah. So, there's a constraint on. Oh, I'm not going to use constraint. There's another. Okay. There is a concentration of a group, and that creates a hierarchy with accessibility. And all of these words are different in English and in communication. So let's not get confused over there. Privacy, segmentation, and privatism is okay. Let's take mobile as an example. Mobile as a medium, and segmentation as in it is a segmented consumption of information. For example, I know that there are only I get these certain ads on Instagram or Facebook, whatever, that only I'll be getting because of my consumption views, or the way I consume media information. So this creates a private circle where I know that this ad is not going to go to my friend, because when I take his phone and see, and like there are different ads. So this is the kind of segmentation that happens. And fidelity means the accessibility, or no, I'm not, again, see, there are the words are so closely related. Fidelity is how easily you can understand something. Okay, so that kind of a message, or that kind of a medium will eventually be iconic, and that creates a sensationalization or sensualization and realism. I'll take an example as okay, there is one person, I'm not even going to take the name, you know it, I'm gonna stand like this, and I'm gonna smile, and what that symbol means, right? You know who stands like that in which movie also. And even if I take a symbol as an example, like a tangible symbol, there is a huge lip and there's a big tongue coming out of it. And if people are who love music will Western music will probably say, okay, fine, that's immediately the Rolling Stones. I don't need to say anything else. So this kind of, with the ease of understanding a language, or the ease of understanding a medium, you are creating fidelity through which you are creating an iconic situation, and which is grounded in realism. That's it. Volume, constraint, and hedonism. I'm not going to take medium as example. I'll take medium as example. Amazon is a medium, right? So the amount of stuff, you go to Amazon, you're going to just keep buying and buying and buying and buying and buying. That's it. That is the entire framework over here. There's so much of stuff you want to keep consuming to enjoy, and that creates a hedonistic society. The amount of volume a media is able to give you information, you are going to wanting to keep consuming. Netflix is an amazing example because you have so much of choice. You sit there, you're just going to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling over and over again. So because there's so much to consume, and at the speed of which is the next velocity, that creates a dialogue, and that is democratized. This here again, democratization is different from pluralism, which we'll come to next. But then, yeah, that word is better used with the sense of dialogicity that we just saw with velocity. I'm not going to take any example, mostly because I don't know which to give. But then I'll come to the next. Range, extent, diversification, and pluralism is okay. So the amount of information you are able to give away freely, and people are able to access it, and then they're giving their own views, and that stays in a society that creates a pluralistic society. Okay, so which example can I take for this? The range, I probably can take Facebook. Yeah, the Facebook is a good example for pluralism in that sense. Persistence, addition, historicization, or temporalism. So anything that creates a long term value. Temporal means time. So even history is time, right? It deals with time. So if it creates a long term value, so for example, you can take any old movie, any old classic movie. Uh, Sholay, for example. Yeah. So even today, it's created such a long-term effect that people are still saying the dialogues, people are still talking about it, and it's become a part of everyday life. So that creates a sense of timelessness in that. And at the last, we're coming to searchability mapping and individualism. Again, I'm going to take mobile here as an example because you are connecting with other people immediately. You are creating a sense of individuality, and that is where it all ends. So I guess that is it with McLuhan and Harold Innis. Hope I was helpful in this. All the best for your exams. Thank you.